Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Mix presented by CrossBones MMA Radio. I'm your host, John Galloway, and today, as we look at the world of combat sports, I'll be joined by my guest, Ben Brewer. Ben, John Galloway, CrossBones MMA, how's it going today?
It's going great, man.
Now, Ben, we're talking today because you got a fight coming up a couple of days from now, going to be December 19th. Fighting in Lowell, Massachusetts at the Sangha Center for Titan Fighting. You're going to be on Titan Fighting Championship number 32. How did this fight come about for you?
I actually jumped in on short notice for a friend of mine, Keith Johnson. Jumping in to fight Romario da Silva. I think I said it right.
I think so.
But yeah, it should be a good one.
So,
a good style matchup for me, I feel like.
Yeah,
and hopefully show Titan what I'm all about.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is your first fight for Titan. Have you spoken to them previously, or was this just an opportunity because Keith stepped out?
Actually, I was supposed to be on the card that got canceled or moved, postponed, whatever. But so I was looking for any chance I could to fight. This is unlike me. I haven't fought since September. That's a huge time off compared to me usually fighting twice a month or at least once a month.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because I was going to ask you about that. You have a very high frequency of your fights, two a month, one a month, like you said, seems to be for the most part, about your frequency. Is that by your choice, or is that just opportunities, and when they come up, you take them?
A little bit of both. Fighting is my full-time job right now, so I just keeping the money going. And if I'm not hurt, I don't have a reason not to. I'm young. I would rather take my damage in the cage than in the gym.
Sure.
So it is what it is. And I'm ready to get back to my home.
Nice. Now, you're going to be, as you mentioned, you're going to be fighting Romario da Silva. He's an older fighter. He's 34 years old coming into this fight. And he's got a lot of experience, 24, 12, and 1. But he's fought a lot of guys in Brazil. What do you think coming into this fight is going to be the biggest difference between what he's used to and what you're going to bring?
There's no question, where my strengths lie, and same with him. I think my grappling is going to be the deciding factor. I can stand with him too. I'm not worried. I feel like my best chance would lie within the jiu-jitsu wrestling.
Now, bring us to your roots and what how you got started. What are your beginnings in MMA?
Oh man, I picked up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by chance. Really, a dude, just a purple belt, came into town, opened up a little small school. It didn't stay open longer than a month, but I picked it up, and then like 3 or 4 years later, I was at an amateur MMA show. I hadn't trained or anything. I was just there to watch as a fan. But I knew the promoter, and they had a back out, and it was roughly my weight class. And I stepped in on a couple hours' notice and won by submission. And I was hooked. I was ready to fight the next weekend. And I think I actually did, if not 2 weeks.
So you went there as a spectator to, just to watch and enjoy the fights. And they had a cancellation, and you were like...
to watch some of my friends fight.
And to watch some of your friends fight, and they had a cancellation, and you were like, I'll do it.
Like I said, it all just happened by chance.
That's amazing. Now, you've had great success...
Sorry, man, you're cutting in and out.
Sorry about that. Sometimes the connection gets a little shaky. You've had great success so far. You're producing a record of 10-2. What do you attribute that to? What's your athletic background?
Hello?
All right. So sorry about the interruption there. Shaky signal a little bit. But what I had said was, you're coming out and you've got an incredible record for having as little experience as you did starting out. You have a pro record of 10-2. Do you have a serious athletic background that you can attribute this to, or is this just a matter of being a good student, having good instructors, and just making it happen?
I owe more than I can even say to my coaches, Sean Hammond, Lance Patrick, Chris Beasley. But like you said, I have always been athletic, and growing up, I was no stranger to a fist fight. but I guess my attitude, my toughness, and it translates over to the cage well.
Now, Ben, you have a couple of fights that you're coming in here, a 2-fight win streak. Do you carry momentum from one fight to another, especially since that you typically have fights so close to each other, or do you just, once that fight is done and over with, you? I
don't know how to do anything but win. My only pro loss that I consider a loss to Gilbert Smith, I wasn't hurt. I mean, I felt like I was winning the fight, and I wanted the fight that night as soon as possible. So.
And you had a fight booked 2 weeks later, but that one got canceled, unfortunately, with Jason Anderson. But you replaced that one with Damian Melton, and you came right back with a submission win of your own there. So you're definitely quick to get that rebound fight. With this fight coming up in Lowell, Massachusetts, is this something that you have to acclimate yourself to, the traveling to fight as opposed to fighting more locally, or is this something that you've been through before and you understand the aspect of it?
That's not going to bother me one bit. I thrive off of those kind of situations where people are rooting against me and I'm coming from the middle of nowhere, but I'm just ready to get in there. It doesn't matter where you put the cage.
Yeah, and this fight is, like I said, is going to be up in Lowell, Massachusetts. You're fighting out of Tennessee. Your opponent's fighting out of Brazil. So I have a feeling you're going to be the quote unquote hometown boy here with some USA chants going in the background. Now, does that add? I think you kind of just mentioned it and kind of touched on it briefly. Does it add having people supporting you, or does it add when they're booing you? Which one do you get more motivated for?
I can't say, honestly. I've got so many people on both sides of the spectrum, love me or hate me. I'm doing my thing.
Nice.
I'm going out there to smash his face.
Now, without giving away too much,
arm off.
Absolutely. Now, without giving away too much of your game plan, because I don't want to do that. But how do you see this fight going? Where do you see this ending? How do you see it ending? Give me your thoughts on what you think's going to happen.
I would say I'd probably will end up submitting him, but I would not miss an opportunity to land some leather.
Now, Ben, you had mentioned earlier that you are a full-time fighter doing this, as your full-time job and full-time income. Do you have sponsors that help you out along the way that you'd like to take a second to quickly mention?
I do, man. I'm glad you gave me that chance. I have some of the best sponsors in the world. Barracuda, Game Changer, Absolute Moving, Boxer Girl, Fit Force.
All right. And Ben, if people can't make it out to Lowell, Massachusetts on the 19th, they can watch it on the CBS Sports Network online and also CBS Sports on their local cable and satellite provider. But if they can't even get that, or if they miss out that night, where can they follow you on social media just to keep up with, what you have going on, how this fight went for you, how your next fight went for you, or, how things plan out, how your progress is planning out here?
Ben the Ruler Brewer on Facebook, and then I think the Ben Brewer on Twitter.
All right. Well, give him an opportunity, give him a quick view, and give him a follow on Twitter and a like on Facebook. That way you guys can keep up with all of the latest of what's going on with Ben and his his career here that's on the rise with a 10-2 record. But that's going to wrap up another episode of In the Mix with John Galloway. This has been presented by CrossBones MMA Radio. I'd like to extend a big thank you to today's guest for joining us. For Ben Brewer, this is John Galloway, and we are tapping out.